What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video. Coming to you guys today, I want to talk about AEW, the pay-per-view that we got this past weekend, which was AEW Wrestledream, and I wanted to talk about Jon Moxley winning the AEW World Championship, and I wanted to talk to you guys and tell you guys why he won the AEW World Championship. I know a lot of people kind of thought Bryan Danielson was going to win. A lot of people were speculating that he was probably going to win, especially with this him being on his full-time run for now. And then when he did lose it, he was going to probably no longer be a full time in-ring talent. So I want to talk to you guys about that, and I want to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on why and where this could potentially lead for Jon Moxley as AEW World Champion. And I might even give you guys my prediction who I think maybe will dethrone him for that championship. So I want to talk to you about that today. But so we did see AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson lose the title to Jon Moxley at Wrestledream this past weekend, and I will tell you guys the match was really, really good. I mean, we had Jon Moxley pretty much attacking him before the match got even started, and it was a lot going into this match with Bryan Danielson being in his home, turf, to say the least. I mean, his friends were there, his family was there, I believe. Some people that he went to high school with as well, and everything like that. So it made the match even more special because then now there was even more stakes because he's not just fighting for the fans, he's fighting for the people that has grew up with him and everything like that who are finally getting to see him wrestle and stuff like that. But here's the thing: the reason why I feel like Jon Moxley was going to win and needed to win is if Bryan Danielson is dealing with a lot of injuries for one, right? And when you're dealing with a lot of injuries, you don't want to put a lot of stock into the champion because it will could potentially make things worse as time progresses. So I think putting the title on him was a good move because now he could say he's actually won a title in AEW, which is I think it's always been the story. It's never really been him having a long reign. It's pretty much just him having the moment itself of winning the championship, which was accomplished when he beat Swerve Strickland at All In this year as well. So I think the moment was him winning the title, not really having him a long reign with it. Then, if you look at on the Jon Moxley side of things, he just came back not too long ago, and he's been a heel. So, if you're going to establish Jon Moxley as in this new iteration of his character as a heel, you want to establish him in the biggest way possible, and the biggest way to do that is putting the championship on him. Now, I can say now I understand people's gripes that he's a big star, he doesn't really need the championship, but neither does Bryan Danielson. But we know if you look at the entire landscape of the AEW division, right? Jon Moxley has always been the go-to guy for years now. Jon Moxley has been the cornerstone of AEW. So you want that person that's been your go-to guy to be the champion, to whether it's a transitional champion or have a long reign, to help the person that does take the title from them make them an even bigger star. Because if we're being honest, I know people are gonna say Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, or Swerve, or whatever the case is. I'm not gonna discredit those guys for being big stars, but for me personally, Jon Moxley is the biggest star in AEW. The reason I say that, because look at the story he's been in. Look at his title reigns. He's been there doing some of the biggest stories in AEW. Let's be honest. And then on top of that, when he turned on Bryan Danielson, that enhanced his heel persona and took it to the next gear. That's what happened. And if you're being honest, go back a couple years ago. Jon Moxley was supposed to turn heel a couple years ago, but the reason that didn't happen is because he went into the rehabilitation program to for his addiction, and that kind of threw a lot of the plans postponed. And then when he came back, they couldn't just automatically turn him heel because the fans would have been so excited, and they were, to see Jon Moxley back after being away from the ring for quite some time. So they couldn't do it right then and there, so they had to wait until the opportune time to do so. And when he lost the IWGP title and everything like that. He took a little sabbatical and he was gone for a while because he was supposed to have a break a couple of years ago, but he didn't. So he finally got the break that he needed, which he deserved for putting in a lot of work in AEW to get it to where it is now. And he came back with a new fresh coat of paint because he came back as this New Japan Death Rider type of character. So I think that was a great, shift, no pun intended, to have him come back and do something different than what people are mainly accustomed to seeing with him. People, they had the wild thing that people love to sing along, but now he came back with this New Japan theme, which I actually really love. And then if you're going to not only establish his character as a heel, he needs the championship, but also his this new iteration of the Blackpool Combat Club, because we did see for the time being, Wheeler Yuta did get seemingly like kicked out after him, Claudio, and Pac won the trios championships, and then Bryan Danielson. Think about it. And they were already kind of setting things up for potentially being John Moxley to be the one to take it. Because if you go back to All In, his family was there, and all of the Blackpool Combat Club, for the most part, were there. But the only one that was not there present was John Moxley. And he ended up showing the following week on that Dynamite. So they were kind of setting things up and kind of telling you guys that he probably was going to be the one to take the title from him. And then once they kicked him out of the Blackpool Combat Club for Bryan Danielson, it kind of got a way more heat on John Moxley and this new iteration of the Blackpool Combat Club, because now they have Pac in there, they have Wheeler Yuta still in there, they have Claudio still there, and then now they have Marina Shafir, who's going to be the women's pretty much like their bodyguard, so to speak, but also like one of the women in the faction. However, when that comes to that, I would have preferred if they would have done someone else, maybe like a Serena D, possibly. I wouldn't mind them doing something like that. But we will see how that plays out. But I'm loving this new iteration of the Blackpool Combat Club, because now, if we're being honest, the reason why John Moxley also had to win the championship is because if you're going to establish this new iteration of the Blackpool Combat Club, you need to establish who's going to probably be the leader of that faction, and you're really going to want to get a lot of heat on that faction as a whole, not as just individuals. So if you're going to do that, you're going to have to put John Moxley, to put him in the forefront, and have him be the AEW World Champion. And I know I don't really like comparisons, but with this new iteration of John Moxley, this could be the second coming of the Reign of Terror that we saw with Triple H back in 2003. This could be a parallel to that almost, because now people don't like John Moxley. People want to see him lose that championship. People are going to be gunning for that championship. But if you look at the closing moments of Wrestledream, you had numerous stars come out there to the aid of Bryan Danielson after Bryan Danielson got curb stomped on with the chair and stuff like that. So it's going to create some compelling stories for John Moxley as AEW World Champion, probably going out through the rest of this year, because we've seen numerous wrestlers to come out there. We saw Jeff Jarrett out there. We saw Adam Cole out there. We saw Daniel Garcia out there. We saw who else was there? We saw Orange Cassidy. We saw the Private Party. We saw Darby Allin as well. So those are numerous wrestlers right there that you can be plugging in to this Blackpool Combat Club story to compete for that AEW World Championship. So now, not only did you make a huge deal out of, pretty much Bryan Danielson being away, stepping away, which he needed to because of his injuries, and I don't think he would have been able to keep up and everything like that. So I think it was the best decision, in my personal opinion, to do so. And then on top of that, you create compelling stories for John Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club to potentially take down John Moxley. So numerous wrestlers that we just named could be going after John Moxley for that AEW World Championship in the upcoming weeks as we head to our next pay-per-view, which is next month, Full Gear. And then after that, we have World's End. So you have two pay-per-views that you can use regardless of who they are. Two of those wrestlers could be going up against John Moxley throughout the rest of the year for that AEW World Championship. Now, I don't know how long John Moxley is going to be champion. If it was to me, I probably would say he probably is going to hold it for a couple of months. Probably at least to the earliest, maybe Double or Nothing. I could see him losing it there. But if we're looking at the current landscape as far as who's going to take it from him, I think it really is safe to say that Darby Allin's going to probably be the one to take it. Because now you create a compelling story. Darby Allin has to scratch and claw his way to get back to where he was. You have him, going through these ultimate tags, probably even going through the Blackpool Combat Cup as well to get him a shot. And when he does win that title, the story and the ride that we've been on this entire time will really be way better than you would expect. And I said this on the Wrestledream review show with myself and Mouthing Off with Mike. This is what they're doing. They're going to have Darby Allin go through a lot of people. He's going to go through some adversity, which he's doing right now. He lost his championship opportunity, which he was going to face for Bryan Danielson, to Jon Moxley. So now he's back to the drawing board. He has to scratch, he has to claw his way back to the top. And when he does get back there and he has to go up against Jon Moxley, and he can show a different side of him that we have not seen before. He can be the same babyface, but a little bit more amped up. He can be way more edgier and way more ruthless, has a little bit more aggression to him, if you will. And I think that can definitely help his character, because I think a lot of people can say, well, it's his character that's kind of holding him back. He can't really be that serious. People really can't take a lot with him. So I think doing that would be very helpful for him. Don't get me wrong. It could potentially help his character going after to the world title, to where now the fans can say, okay, I can buy into him. I know his character is way different than it was the first go around. So this is going to create for some compelling storytelling throughout AEW, which I am all for. So that's why I said Jon Moxley is was the best decision to put the AEW World Championship on. Not only creating compelling stories, but if you're trying to establish him as the biggest heel in AEW, he needs the championship. I know people are going to say, well, isn't the biggest heel none other than Hangman? I would say so as well, but if we're seeing everything that's going on, his heel turn was more justified. If you're being honest, his heel turn came off the back of pretty much getting his house broken into by Swerve Strickland, which kind of sent him down this path of madness. So his heel turn is somewhat justified, in my personal opinion. But Jon Moxley is being the sadistic, take no prisoners type of person, which I think we all can agree that he can play that character really well. But that is the end of the video, guys. Comment down below. Let me know, was Jon Moxley the right decision? Do you think Jon Moxley should have won the AEW World Championship? Or do you think Bryan Danielson should have retained? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Road to 350 subscribers. The ultimate goal is 10K. When I do hit 10K, I will do a giveaway. One of my lucky subscribers will have the opportunity to win a WWE Championship from WWE Shop. So if you want to be a part of that and potentially be the subscriber that does win that, go subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. You can always change your mind in the future. I'm trying to, you could always change your mind in the future, but what do you want to do? I'm trying to get guys daily wrestling content. Grind does not stop. Super kick that like button, helps my channel get pushed across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing here on YouTube. Super punch that post notification bell. It's every time I'm posting a video, where it's a reaction video, rant video, live stream. You can be in the loop of things when I do drop a video. And spare the subscribe button. Takes 3 seconds out of your day to do the 3 things for me, helps in the progression of my channel. But with that being said, hope everybody has a great day, a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.